Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be replacing the valve cover gasket on a 2015 Honda Accord with the Earth Dreams engine. We're going to go over all the tools you're going to need and put a link down in the description for the parts I used as well. We're going to start out by removing the cover here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10mm screws. Next we're going to be removing this cover here. It's held on by these two here and a rubber grommet on this side. Now the connector right here for the O2 sensor, you're going to squeeze on the tab here and slide it over. Next we're going to remove this PCV hose right here. You're going to grab on the clamp, squeeze it, slide this off. Now on the back side over here, you're going to have a few more connectors we need to undo. Looking back over here, you have the one connector here. You have this one that plugs in right there. And then the one in the back, this one right here, it goes right here. This one right here was by far the hardest one to remove. This one goes back there like this and sits in there. Push down on this tab and then pull it off. But this guy will give you a run for your money. Next, we're going to undo the 10mm holding down the ignition coils. Now we're just going to pre-pop all 4 of them, so when we go to pull off the whole harness, it's a lot easier. We have one tab right here. I'm going to push down on it to release this harness here. The backside harness here, you're going to grab this and kind of just bend it out of its holder. Just like that. And now we're going to be able to unfold all of this. All right, so now we got 2 more clips. Once we got the harness up and out of the way, you're going to find a green clip right down there we're going to undo. And then one more right down in here. This disconnected, the other green one disconnected down there as well. Now we can go ahead and undo the 10mm screws holding down the valve cover. I did forget one PCV hose right here. Just undo the clamp in the back of the valve cover, and this one you can easily pull off. This one's usually not stuck onto the valve cover. So once you got all your bolts removed, you're going to have 9 that look like this, and you're going to have 1 more over here on this side. It's going to look different. You need a deep socket 10mm to remove this one. Now as best you can, you're going to want to evenly lift up from the valve cover. So you want to kind of rock it side to side just to break apart the gasket. And so see how I could lift up over here? Don't continue to lift from here. Go to the other side. Lift up a little bit over here. Then you can come back and just work your way slowly till you can pick it up evenly like this. Do not strike this with a rubber mallet or a hammer. This is a plastic valve cover, so you can break it. So now we're gonna go in here and clean up all the valve cover right here. See all this dirt and grime? We're gonna clean that up. So once you clean off the valve cover right here, or the cylinder head, there's going to be 4 points that there's going to be a sealer. See all this right here? You're gonna peel this off by hand right here and get rid of this. Just get it all apart. So you're gonna have some here, one right above here where this little connection is on the metal. Same thing on the back side, you're gonna have one right here, another one down there, and then one down there, and then one more right here. So you gotta clean all this off and then apply a new sealer. One thing you're gonna notice on the valve cover is these spark plug tubes. These gaskets are not able to be serviced, so you can't remove them. So you're just gonna go ahead and leave them there. We'll remove the one gasket here, clean off all the inside, and lay down the new gasket. We're gonna be using the Honda OEM valve cover gasket. Here's the part number. Now if your valve cover does have like screws here that can be serviced, you do want to replace that. It's going to look something like this. So your spark plug tubes, if they are able to be replaced, they're going to have like 2 T20s on either side. Just remove those, pop these out, put the new ones in, and then the screws also come with gaskets right there. Alright, so once again, you're going to want to put the sealer right here and here. Same thing on the other side. Right here and down there. One more in the corner and one here. Alright, so it should look something like this. Here and here and right there. Now you want to set that and install the valve cover right after. You don't want to let that sit for more than 5 minutes because then it'll dry. You'll have to remove it and put a new layer on. So make sure your valve cover is ready to be installed before you put this. Now you want to make sure the spark plug tubes are lined up with the gasket before you go and push them in completely. So once you have the valve cover pushed down firmly on all sides, go ahead and hand start all the screws. Now there is a torque spec and torque sequence to these screws. I'm going to go ahead and show you a diagram up on the screen in the order in which they should be tightened. And it's going to be in 2 steps. One is just going to be to bottom down the screws, and then the final step would be the final torque, which is, I believe, 5 foot-pounds or 7 Newton meters. Don't forget the one with the stud goes on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and torque these down, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we did the first step where we make the bolts come in contact with the cylinder head. Now we're just going to go ahead and torque these down. 5 foot-pounds or 7 Newton meters. So now we're just going to go ahead and put all the electrical connections back together. This includes the ignition coils, the hoses we removed. Don't forget the hose in the back. I forgot it, taking it off. Don't forget putting it back on as well. In case you're wondering, torque spec for all these little 10 millimeters are the same 5 foot-pounds or 7 Newton meters. Once you got everything assembled, the last step, and this is really crucial, don't forget that we have to let the vehicle sit for a minimum of 3 hours before we turn the car on. This will allow the gasket and the RTV to fully seal, fully get in contact with the cylinder head to the valve cover and the valve cover gasket, so we don't have any leaks. So as soon as you're done, don't go rushing to turn this on. Let it sit for about 3 hours minimum. I just did it overnight, and then you can go ahead and start it up and double check for any leaks. And just a quick tip, if you are going to have any leaks, you're going to have the leaks coming from the back left over here or the back right, seeing as the engine is tilted toward the back. If you do have a leak in the front, it'll be a lot easier to see, but you want to focus on the back once you turn on the vehicle. So if you learned something, if I helped you save some money, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.